I think that it's so important for us to remember that we are mortal, that we are going to die, that I even put up a reminder for myself on my wall. Let me just show you. We're going on a trip, I'm taking you with me. Look at this. I'm not sure, can you see it? It says there, memento mori, right there. That means, in Latin maybe? Memento mori, remember that you'll die, and if you're interested, here's another amor fati, love of fate, breathe, and that's just to remember that, to take deep breaths. Now, a lot of people have this experience, you might be able to relate, when someone you know or someone maybe in your family gets cancer and gets this fatal diagnosis, and you start thinking to yourself, what would I do if I had cancer? What would I spend with my time? You start thinking of your bucket list, doing all these things. But guess what? You do have cancer. You do have a fatal diagnosis. You're going to die. The only thing is that the doctor can't tell you when you're going to die. But you are 100% going to die. You have this fatal diagnosis. It might be tomorrow. It might be 40 years later. Another thing is that you might actually have cancer. The cells, the cancer cells, might be in your body right now while you're watching this video and you're not even aware of it. You might actually have cancer, but that's for another video. We won't talk about it now. But the point is that you're going to die. And remembering this, keeping this in mind, just gives you a whole different perspective on life. Knowing that you could die today. A lot of people dismiss this and say, I could die today. But they don't really think that through. Your body is very fragile. Your heart can stop while you're watching this video. Really, your heart can stop any time. Just randomly like that and you're dead. So knowing that you could die today or tomorrow, it really puts things into perspective, what's essential? What do I really want to spend my time on? How will I speak to other people, knowing that I will die? Or maybe they will die tomorrow. Do I really want our last conversation to be one of hatred? How will I treat other people knowing that I will die? Will I be anxious, think about tomorrow's test, or that I don't have my homework, knowing that I will die? Will I waste my time on random bullshit, scrolling on social media, wasting my time thinking about what others think, stalking others on social media? Really? Really, if you knew that you would die today, would you think to yourself, man, I gotta watch porn one more time before I die? I gotta go out with a banger. Really, when you ask yourself this question, what would I do if I would die today? This really puts things into perspective. It just shows you how pointless some things are in life. How pointless it is to be anxious, because no amount of anxiety will change anything. It will just make things worse. It just really puts everything into a whole nother perspective. It's you stepping back, really looking at everything from an objective standpoint. Now, when thinking about that, it's easy to fall in this kind of nihilism, thinking that nothing matters and just pursuing pleasure, living this hedonistic lifestyle. But that's not the point. The point is that life is meaningful, and you're a dumbass if you waste 1 second of it. My belief, or whatever you want to call it, is that life is basically playful. That life is fun most of the time. It's pretty good. You never know what's coming. There's always a surprise. It's the universe is coming on itself and saying boo, and then scaring himself. Yeah, there are bad surprises too, but how do you have good surprises without bad ones? You can't have one without the other. You can't have a good surprise without knowing what a bad surprise is. You need good for bad to exist. They are completely inseparable. They are like waves. You need both. And it's oscillating between each other. And you, just in the same way, you can't have a crest of a wave without a trough. Like, have you ever seen a crest of a wave without a trough? And the same applies to life and death. Life and death is also one of these opposites, so-called. These opposites like up and down, inside, outside, black and white. They are completely inseparable. You can't see black. You don't know what black is like if you haven't seen it next to white. And you don't know what white is like when you haven't seen it next to black. They are completely inseparable, like selling and buying. But here comes the problem. We don't realize that. We think that one could win. We think that white could win. So when we think, for example, that black could win, that could win, we start thinking, no, white must win. So we do everything that we can to make sure that white wins. So this means that we try to do everything to make sure that life prevails, not realizing that they go together. They are inseparable. You can't have one without the other. How would you know that you're alive if you haven't been dead before? And how do you know that you're dead? I'm not even sure if you're going to know that you're dead, but I'm not sure, do you understand the point that I'm trying to get across? That these two are completely inseparable. You can't have one without the other. This is why you shouldn't be scared of death. It's a completely natural process. Our fear of death comes from the fact that we think that there is something permanent in us that is just going to disappear. That we have this ego that is going to die and we don't know what's going to happen to it in the afterlife. But you gotta realize that death and life is the same thing. They go together. Underlying these opposites, there is a hidden unity. Enough with the philosophy and everything. Let me ask you something. What do you think? When will you die? After 40 years, maybe you have 20, 50? Today? Right now? When will you die? Because don't be so sure that, I have 60 years left. How do you know? How do you know that you have that much time left? You don't even know if you're going to live for the next 10 minutes. It's all uncertain. So don't be so sure that you're going to live for the next 50 years. Really. You could die at any moment. You really think about that. You could die today. This could be your last day. This is why it's so important for us to be present, to fully enjoy this moment. Because a lot of the times, we're not present. We think about the future, we think about the past. Our mind is there, never here in the here and now. We're never fully aware of the things around us, really just taking in everything, appreciating it, feeling everything as it is, loving everything as it is, not trying to push it away, not trying to pull it towards us. The more you try to pull something towards you, the more it goes away, and the more you try to push something away from you, the more it will come back and bite you. For example, if you really want to be peaceful, you search for peace and tranquility, the more you search for it, the more it's going to get away from you. The more needy you are to get it, and the more you chase it, it's going to disappear. Try to do that is trying to calm the waves of a water with a flat iron. You're just going to disturb it even more. Or, for example, another thing is try to be happy. Your goal is to be happy. So you search for happiness your whole life. But this works the opposite way. The more you try to be happy, the more you try to push away sadness and suffering, the more it will come back and bite you. Trying to find happiness and pursue happiness is like trying to calm the waters of a lake by like pushing it down. Here's a better example. It's like, let's say that you have a muddy lake. It's full of dust and mud, it's going everywhere. Well, if you try to like get the mud out, you're just going to stir the water more and more. The mud is going to go everywhere. The way you get that water to be clean is to just let it sit. Let the dust go down to the bottom. And then you will have a calm lake. It's the same with trying to pursue happiness. You just have to let that go. Just completely let it go. And then you will achieve it. Like it's like a paradox. The more you try to pursue it, the less you're going to get it. And the less you try to pursue it, the more you're going to get it. It's so interesting. So really just be present while you're doing, even in mundane things. Like brushing your teeth, just taking a walk, or while you're in traffic. Try to be present. Try to be grateful that you're alive. Try to be grateful for this day, that you didn't die yesterday. Because a lot of people would switch places with you. Like a lot of time people are complaining about this and that, but they don't realize that how millions of people would switch places with them. If you can watch this video, you live in luxury, really. If you have a, what do you call this? I can't remember. A roof above your head. If you have a roof above your head, something to eat, people to be around, that is a luxury to have. And you shouldn't really be complaining. So really, keep this in mind while you're going on with the rest of your day. You're going to die. Do whatever, stick it up your wall, get a phone background that says you will die, get a tattoo on your butt that says you will die, whatever it takes for you. Just keep in mind that you're mortal. Hope that you like this video. If you're interested in doing free one-on-one calls where you can ask me anything, I'm doing free coaching calls, any question, any advice you want, feel free to send me an email. Email is in the description. So I hope that you like this video. Have a great day and goodbye.